Hello, everybody. I am Thanasi. This is MoneyShift, and we are back. As you guys know, I am self-financed, which means I am locating, securing, and buying these cars to review for you. On MoneyShift, we run file pages, which are long-term tests that we used to have in automotive magazines, brought to life on video. And we have finally secured our newest file page car. Now, I cannot wait to show it to you guys. So without further ado, let me reach into my pocket and hand you the keys. Let's take a walk around. All right, here it is. This is the focus of our next file page. What you are looking at is the 2022 Polestar 2. But before we get into the specific details about my car, let's give a little bit of history on the brand, because a lot of people are going to look at this and say, hey, that's just a Volvo, but it's not. While Polestar started in the late 90s modifying and racing Volvos, the brand has since been spun off under its new owners, Geely, to be its own company. Polestar, as we know it, has shifted from a tuner racer to its own brand. So while it shares a lot of design DNA and mechanical DNA with the Volvo, it is in fact its own company. Just like a Toyota is different from a Lexus, a Polestar is different than a Volvo. Now, the model that you're looking at here is a Polestar 2 dual motor. That means it has a motor in the front, and it means it has a motor in the back. And thanks to that 78 kilowatt hour battery, you combine all of that together and you're looking at something that has 408 horsepower. And thanks to that instant torque and thanks to that all-wheel drive, you're looking at a 0 to 60 right around 4.1 seconds, which is pretty impressive if I do say so myself. Now, the Polestar 2 plays this interesting dynamic because it's not really a sedan because it's a little bit taller, but it's not really an SUV because its body is like a sedan. So it's somewhere in between. Now, if I got to give credit to my favorite design element on the Polestar 2, it is this rear taillight. As we sort of round around to the back end of this car here, you see a light bar that goes all the way across the trunk lid and really frames this car in a really elegant, professional, clean way. I love the aesthetic of the Polestar 2, but its party trick is its trunk. This thing actually has a lot of room. Hit this hidden trunk switch here, and the power lift gate opens up an expansive trunk. This thing really does have a lot of space. Now, it doesn't have as much space as a Volkswagen ID4 or a Tesla Model Y, but it definitely has more space than a Tesla Model 3. And you even have a lot of space underneath this load floor, no spare here. But let's close that trunk and let's make our way to the inside, where I'm briefly going to touch on what makes a Polestar 2 a Polestar 2. As we hop into the Polestar 2, I know what you guys are thinking. That shares a lot with Volvo, but you'd be wrong. While that steering wheel is remarkably similar, everything else is different, and it starts with this digital dash. After we clear the warning that I don't have my seatbelt on, we are graced with a wonderful map. And you might be saying, hey, that's common in a lot of luxury vehicles, but what isn't common is the fact that that's not just any map, that's Google Maps, and we love that functionality. Google Maps is one of the better navigation systems. Looking over at the door panel of this base Polestar 2, you'll realize it's not adorned with any crazy leather or exotic materials, but what it does have is nice quality touch points and very nice cloth materials used. This does feel like a remarkably premium vehicle, even though it doesn't necessarily have things like leather and crazy metal finishes, and we love a memory seat after not having that in previous vehicles. One of the interesting design elements on the Polestar 2 is that mirror. It is bevel-less, and the whole mirror actually shifts when you are adjusting it to your overall preferred setting. Really, really cool feature, and I love how large these mirrors are. Swipe past that Volvo-looking steering wheel, and we look at a center display, which is powered by Android. So you see Google Maps, you see Google Assistant, and we haven't installed any of the other apps. Like I said, I just picked this car up, but I am definitely excited to dig into this. Gloss black aside, I love that there is a physical volume knob with a play pause button right on top of it. match that to some remarkably comfortable seats and no glass roof because, again, we have a base model car and you are presented with an awesome machine. All right, folks, there she is. The 2022 Polestar will be the focus of our next file page. And you already know how we conduct ourselves here on the MoneyShift channel. Not only do we give you an in-depth review of this vehicle and all its different functionalities, its infotainment, how it drives on the road, its audio system, all that jazz, but we compare it to other vehicles in similar class, which for this means Tesla Model 3, which for this means Ioniq 5, Kia EV6, Toyota BZ4X, all that jazz, and it is coming to this channel. So stay tuned, hit that like button, and subscribe so that you can be notified whenever a Polestar file video drops. I am Thanasi. This is MoneyShift. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.